What's up, nerds? My name is Corybergeron. You're watching Corybergeron Recordings, and we're back with a brand new video. In today's video, I'm going to tell you how I made $10,000 offering audio production services through Fiverr. Hello?
Hello?
Wait, did you just pick up the phone?
Yes.
But you called me.
Yes.
Okay, well, do you plan on releasing music anytime soon? If so, I recommend using the service DistroKid. DistroKid allows you to get your music on all the major streaming services and platforms.
Like Spotify? And Apple Music?
Yes, exactly. And for just a low annual fee, you can upload as much music as you want. And if you use my link, www.distrokid.com/VIP/whatsupnerds, you'll save 7%.
I gotta go.
That was weird. Alright, so for those of you that don't know what Fiverr is the world's largest marketplace for digital services. Fiverr allows you to browse the selection of freelancers offering services and to place orders with just one click. A service offered on Fiverr is a gig. Now, as some of you may remember, I started offering services through Fiverr at the end of July 2020, and I made a video a couple weeks after talking about my experience up until that point. It has now been about 6 months since I've been offering services through Fiverr, and this is another update video where I'm going to talk about all of my analytics, what's worked, what hasn't, and then I'll give you a step-by-step guide of how I think you can be successful on Fiverr. So let's jump into my computer here and take a look at the analytics. All right, so in front of me, I have my analytics tab open, and let's start breaking it down. At the top left, we have my total earnings, which are $9,779. I know that's not $10,000, but that would look a lot less attractive in the title. We're here on YouTube. You got to play the game. Let's keep moving forward. And total completed orders is 141. My average selling price is 91.36 Canadian. And then earned in January, as of January 10th, 2021, we are at $902.55. Let's move down to the graph here. These bars here represent the earnings, and then this line here represents the completed sales, and this is the year 2020. You can see that at the end of July I started and I made $100 in July. In August I made roughly $800, $900. Same thing in September. In October we jumped up to $1,700. In November I made roughly $2,800, and in December we made roughly $2,300. So let's talk about this graph a little bit. Obviously, you can see from July to November that the income has gone up fairly consistently. And the reason for that, or one of the reasons for that, is because when you start out on Fiverr, you do not have a resume, you don't have a review. And the way that Fiverr works is it works like any search engine. If I type something in, it's trying to give me the best result. So it's going to show me the gig that has the best reviews. I'm guaranteed to get a great experience, and then I become a returning client of Fiverr, and I give them more of my money. So when I was starting out, obviously I didn't have the luxury of having all these reviews because I was a new seller. So what I did, and I touched on this on my first video, is I started offering my gigs for super cheap. I was doing mixes for $5, which is not very cool, but you got to do what you got to do, and you got to play the game a little bit. Another thing to note here is if we look at the completed sales, in August we have 19 completed sales, in September we have 24, in October we have 26. Now let's compare October to September. In September, 24 orders, we made roughly $900. In October, 26 orders, so 2 more orders, we have $1,700. Now the reason for this is because as the demand increases, as you start building up those reviews and you have a ton of people ordering through you, it is time to raise your prices. And that is what I did there. I will touch more on this at the end of the video. One last thing I want to touch on here is during July, August, September, I was here in my basement, in my little basement studio. In October and November, I was actually in Brazil. When I was in Brazil, I obviously didn't have the luxury of having my monitors and my super fast computer, but I did have a laptop and I did have plugins and I was able to bring my headphones. I made it work, and I spent a lot of time there working on these Fiverr projects and continuing to make money so I could pay my mortgage back home. Let's keep moving forward here. I am a level 2 seller. So if we take a look here, my response rate is 97%, which is not perfect. Sometimes on Fiverr, people have unrealistic requests and I'm busy and I drop the ball and don't get back to everyone. Moving forward, we have the order completion rate, and that's at 98%. I had one person cancel on me. Long story, not very cool, but it is what it is. And then on-time delivery is at 98%, which again, isn't perfect. This is kind of a funny story. I was kind of overworking myself a little bit, working on a bunch of things, and I bounced out the project. I uploaded to Fiverr, but I didn't hit the send button. and then I went to bed, and I woke up in a panic hours later and then hit the send button, but it was too late. So I have delivered a project late. Fiverr tells you that when you deliver projects late, basically hurts your ranking in the algorithm and how many people see your gigs. So I would not recommend to do that very often. If we keep going down here, you can see that I have an all-time rating of 5 stars with 106 reviews. And then if we look at the countries here, this is the little world domination tab with 10 orders in Canada. The majority of the orders coming from the States, a couple from South America, a bunch from Europe, some from Australia and New Zealand. All right, so moving on over to the gigs tab here. We have pitch correct and time align your vocals in 24 hours, mix and master your rock music in 24 hours, mix and master your pop punk song in 24 hours, time align and mix your drums in 24 hours, write and record your pop punk instrumental in 48 hours, and then we have one paused gig, which is mix and master your hip hop song in 24 hours. So I have this set to the last 6 months here. I believe this is my highest generating gig. So this one gig here, write and record your pop punk instrumental in 48 hours, has received 3,108 American dollars, and you can see that it's been clicked on 243 times, 15,000 impressions. My second highest earning gig is my mix and master your pop punk song in 24 hours, and that's generated $2,800. That's had 364 clicks, 32 orders, and 15,000 impressions. With the gigs here, I'm still figuring it out. I haven't touched them much since I started. I'm thinking about adding a couple other gigs, like maybe I will play pop punk guitar for your song or something like that. All right, so that is my profile there. Let's start breaking down how I think you can be successful on Fiverr by talking about what has worked for me. So number one, and this is the most important thing, is that you have to do good work. Nothing else matters if you're not doing good quality work. If you do good work, you'll get good reviews. If you don't do good work, you won't get good reviews, and I would imagine that the Fiverr algorithm would push your gigs to the bottom, as well as anyone that stumbles upon your profile will see bad reviews and they will not work with you. So even if you are selling the gig for cheaper than you want, and you don't think it's worth your time, do a great job. If you've committed to doing the gig, do it to the best that you can. Get that 5-star review and move on. Number two, and I touched on this earlier, start by doing cheap gigs to build those reviews and to build up that resume. Let's take a look at my profile here. If we look at the reviews on my profile, we have 5-star, Corey's the man, awesome, great communication, fast turnaround, super optimistic and fun to work with, really happy with the results. I will 100% recommend Corey for sure. Absolutely nailed it again. Thank you so much for your work. We'll be back again soon. More and more positive 5-star reviews. Those are all good things. What you don't see here is how much these people paid for these gigs. I could have charged $5 for all of these gigs and these people could have left these reviews, and then I could change my gig and make it $100 and these reviews would still stand here, and then people stumbling upon your profile would assume that these people paid full price for the gig. So as I mentioned, start out with cheap gigs, get as many as you can, get those 5-star reviews, and then start building your profile up from there. Number three, communicate well and over deliver. Let's create a realistic example here. All right, I have a gig, and on this gig, I will mix your track and I will give you 3 revisions. Okay, you send me the files, I mix your track, I deliver it, boom. You request revisions. This is your first set of revisions. I have to redeliver the track now. Now you request the second set of revisions. I now have to redeliver the track again, and then you request third round of revisions, and now I have to redeliver the track. And this can happen over the course of a week. It can take up a bunch of your time, as well as the client can maybe lose some faith in your abilities. So what I like to do is I like to over-deliver. So here's an example of how I might over-deliver. I can send the client back 2 mixes, one with the vocals mixed the way I like, and one with the vocals up a little bit. Or I can send them 2 different versions with 2 different guitar tones. So they can make the choice. You make the back and forth easier. It takes less time on your end, and you're able to finish the gig, satisfy the client. Life is good. Another common example of how I over-deliver, and this has happened a lot, is let's say someone sends me a track, and when I listen to it, I go, those drums are out of time, the vocals are out of tune, the guitar is played poorly, and the bass is also out of tune and out of time. Instead of just trying to do my best, mixing it doesn't turn out great, I send it back to them, and they can't comprehend why it doesn't sound professional. What I'll do is I'll take the extra time, I'll edit those drums, I'll tune those vocals, clean up the bass, maybe even retrack some guitars, and then I will send them back a high quality project. They don't care how it got done, they just care that it sounds amazing. You get that 5-star review, and life goes on. So to reiterate, communicate and over-deliver. And it kind of touches back on point number 1. Do good work. The fourth thing I want to talk about is increase your prices with the demand. Up until this point, I've talked about doing cheap gigs, getting those 5-star reviews. Well, guess what? That is not sustainable. That is not how you want to live your life. You're not doing Fiverr so you can work like a dog. You're doing Fiverr so you can make some extra cash. Increase your prices with the demand. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't let your mindset be that if I increase my prices, I might get less clients, because that very well could happen, but it could be a good thing. Let's say you take on 10 projects a month at $50, but the gig you're offering is actually an $100 gig. Let's say you turn up the price of that gig to $100, but you only get 5 people ordering in a month. The net income is still the same, but you're doing half the work. Don't be afraid to raise your prices. It's all an experiment. You want to make sure that what you're doing is sustainable. You don't want to be working like a dog. Don't be afraid to increase your prices. All right, here are 2 bonus tips that I don't know how effective they are, but they're things that I've done. There might be some sort of benefit. So one thing that I do, obviously, is I make all my gigs. I will deliver them in 24 hours. For me, this is manageable when I'm at home, and I have no problem doing it. So that might incentivize some people to choose your gig over someone else's if they are impatient. It's not the number one reason why someone should order a gig, but who knows? It kind of plays with the psyche of the person buying. So in my case, I like to say I will do this in 24 hours. The person knows that they're going to get their gig received in 24 hours, and that's good. So that might help you out a little bit. And the second thing is when I'm working on this computer, I leave Fiverr open in the background, and it shows that I am online. So if someone's searching through gigs, they'll see that I'm online when they scroll past my gig, so they can ask me a question immediately and I can get back to them immediately. This also goes to, communicating really well. But that is one way that you might get a slight advantage over someone else. If you're online and you stay online, because they know that they can reach out to you and you can get back to them right away. So there it is. That has been my experience over the last 6 months working through Fiverr. I hope that you learned something in this video. Do not be afraid to give it a try. Find out what you're good at. See if other people are offering similar services. Copy their ad, make it your own, copy their homework, and see if you can earn some extra money. Obviously, we're all living through a weird time in this world and we're all being affected differently. So earning a little bit of extra money on the side isn't a bad thing. Give it a try. Use the tips that I talked about in this video. If you have not, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. There is a link for my Discord group down below. You can join it. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like the video. I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.